And they envelop themselves in a sticky, gluey matrix, which makes them quite resistant to, in the stream, it could be amoeba. In our human body, it's the immune system, but also it's a survival mechanism of biofilm. And so biofilms are much more tolerant to antibiotics. So if you have a biofilm on your medical device in your patient, it's extremely difficult to eradicate unless often you just have to remove the device, which means it's no longer working for the benefit of that patient. So it's a lifestyle bacteria adopt, which is a survival lifestyle, where they're living together in a sticky matrix, slimy community, if you like. The patterns are made of things called primitives, which are basically, if you think about them as pyramids, spheres, and cubes, and you can put those together in different ways to create a different shape, which we call a feature. And then you can arrange the features on a flat surface. So the features can be a certain height, they can be a certain size, and they can create channels larger or smaller distances between them. And so if you have thousands of these, you need a machine learning approach to figure out which ones might give you the output that you want.
And this is what you're seeing. So the bacteria actually are moving outward, so they've been inoculated in the corner, and the shape change as well. They elongate during the swarming, so they will differentiate.
It's very resistant to antimicrobial agents. It's a real tough so-and-so. And so it's one of the World Health Organization organisms of concern. So it's one of the escape pathogens. And it basically can cause infections in any body site. Normally, it would prefer to attack an immune-compromised person.
Of cells together, but here they're just completely disorganized and not aligned, so they're not creating this swarm pattern, which you can see, and they're actually coming loose, but it's just not swimming.
It could range from neonatal feeding tubes, even neonatal cots, through to breathing tubes, ventilator tubes, hip replacements, because one of the or two of the main areas that we're looking at with the funding we currently have, one is wound healing. So of course you have diabetic foot wounds, which are a huge problem. Secondly, surgical meshes, which are used, for example, if you have a hernia or you're trying to sort out pelvic organs, and after surgery you have to put this mesh in to keep everything in place. And all of those are very susceptible to infection. And so anything you could texturize, you could potentially use one of these landscapes that we've identified. If you can prevent infection in the first place, you don't have to use antibiotics. And given we have a huge problem with antibiotic resistance, so such that a lot of antibiotics aren't going to work, then if you can, prevention's better than cure in this case. So there are many different types of implanted medical devices that this could be very useful for. And of course, as well as the immune response to infecting bacteria, you also want to make sure with an implanted medical device that you don't get inflammation around the device and you don't get foreign body formation. So there are other potential sort of benefits to the patient in terms of healing, as well as keeping the bacteria at bay.